Hey guys, Big Fatty Plus here, and you're probably wondering why you're looking at a picture of Straightedge, the theme that the WWE wrestler CM Punk goes by. By the way, in case you're wondering, the picture is by a person on DeviantArt named Tizar. I'll link you there. I hope they don't mind me using the picture uh, for this particular video. But I thought about using a CM Punk picture, but kind of don't want to get that taken down for copyright. But because this is something I really want to talk about. Um, you see, aside from the fact that I'm an overweight slob, I actually live a pretty much straight edge life. I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke. I just eat too much. But the reason I'm talking about this is because some friends as of late have noticed have been doing things that, it's like, yeah, it's their lives, it's what they want to do, but it's something I don't approve of. And to be honest, it ticks me off whenever I hear about it, because I care about my friends. Katie's like, one of my friends here on YouTube, 40 Warrior, posted some videos about, posted him doing Ninja Gaiden drunk, which, I'll be honest, you'd have to be under some kind of substance in order to get through that game without breaking something. But yeah, and about a week ago, I found out my coworker, she came in and basically told me she had did pot, and while the that particular experience was unpleasant, she thinks she might do it again with a vaporizer, which one of her friends has. And I just see, this is what ticks me off. I'm gonna actually, it's probably gonna be a long ass rant, and I apologize, but this is something I need to talk about, and I apologize for hearing the fan in the background. It's hot as hell right now. But I'm just gonna go off some things here. I'm just gonna list off. I'm gonna start with these ones. Reason why I don't smoke. It's disgusting. When my mom asked me to hand her cigarettes, I actually freaking gag holding them, and I can't even stand to look at cigarette butts without gagging. Even though, because almost all my friends that I hang out with in real life smoke, I probably have secondhand smoke damage to my lungs. Anyway, I probably end up getting secondhand lung cancer for that, but nothing I can really do. They all smoke because it relieves their stress, even though some people tell me I should smoke because it'll relieve my stress. No, it'll just make it worse because I'll be worrying, oh, I'm damaging my lungs even further. This is actually not helping me at all. That, and I find it completely disgusting. So, I'm just going to get the easy one out of the way. But the two difficult ones, I'm going to start with the less difficult one, but still difficult, is drugs. I mean, difficult in terms of talking about it and how long it is. To say what I did say, the reason why I'm bringing this up is let's see, I think last Saturday, my coworker came in to work. I noticed she'd been a little off all day, dropping things and whatnot, and generally forgetting stuff. And then it was about 7:30, near closing time, and she looks at me and she says, "You're gonna judge me. I'm gonna tell you something, but you're gonna judge me harshly for it." Like, we have one of these adversarial friendships, and I go, "Yeah, I probably am gonna judge you, but go ahead." And she tells me that she went and smoked pot with this guy that she likes, that she claims won't work out because they're too different, but yet she sees him anyway, and he's a pothead, and she decided to smoke pot with him. That pissed me off because she should be a smarter girl than that. She should be smarter than that, but no, she's sitting there smoking. Apparently, from what she told me, she smoked it wrong, and cost the guy like $20 or something in weed. And she said it was an unpleasant experience, but she might try it again because she liked the after effect. And one of her other friends she knows has a vaporizer. She might try it that way. To which I went off on her. I'll be honest. I said that has got to be the dumbest thing you've ever done in your life. And all the things you've ever told me, that's got to be the dumbest. That is beyond ridiculous. I mean, I thought you were smarter than that. I actually chided her. I said, that is stupid. Why are you doing that? And she said, I was curious. I'm like, why would you be curious about drugs? And then she went on this little lecture like, oh, it has medicinal effects and everything. I don't give a shit. I don't. I honestly don't give a shit how many medical things you could bring up to me about how marijuana could help people with pain, how some people with muscular dystrophy or muscular multiple sclerosis or whatever smoke it or take it to relieve their pain. I don't care. It's still a drug. It still radically alters your mind. It still makes you high. I don't care. The reason it's stopping their pain is because it's making them high. I don't care how many people could say, "Oh, this is helpful. This could heal things." I don't care. It's a drug. I am fully 125,000% against legalization. Yes, I know. If it legalized it, it would help the economy and everything. I don't care. You see, we already have a problem with people going out and getting drunk because alcohol is widely available. I'm going to get to that later. But to have but to have weed widely available, you can go down to your local convenience store, buy it, is ridiculous in my opinion. Completely, totally, and utterly ridiculous. I mean, the fact that people are even making synthetic weed, which is kind of legal, is baffling to me. It's ridiculous. Yes, we already have a problem of underage drinking, underage smoking, and now we're going to have a problem with, kids being able to more easily obtain weed. Yes, I know, kids probably do it now as it is. But imagine how much more they would be doing it instead of having to save up $20, $30, $40 to go and get a bunch of it from their dealer who's hiding on a corner somewhere. And they don't even get that much probably. But they go down to a convenience store and have someone go in for them and buy a bunch of it for I'm talking about loads of it more for the same price. We'd have worse cases of kids coming into school high instead of what we have now. We'd have worse cases. Let me tell you something. When you're high, that's the same as if you're drunk. Only thing though is you get high quicker. The only thing though is with weed, it's not weight dependent from what I've been told. It's not weight dependent. It doesn't matter if you're 7'2", 500 pounds, or 5 foot nothing, 100 nothing. It will still make you high in the same amount. And that's actually worse than alcohol. Alcohol is weight dependent. You could be a big guy and drink a lot of it. Of course, it also depends on the person, but still. The fact that you could get high within a few shots of it, that's a problem. Someone could go to their local convenience store, buy weed, and take a few puffs and already they're high, driving down the road, boom, there's an accident. Someone's maimed, hurt, or even killed because, I wanted to be high. Do you know how much that makes me mad? I mean, we have that as it is now. I don't want to be hearing more about it because some jackass thought it was a good idea to legalize it because, some people are in pain. I could care less. And they would tell me, well, you'd think differently if you were in that pain. I go, I would take the standard stuff the doctor would prescribe to me. And if I felt any different, if I started feeling off, I would actually stop taking it. Like, oh, okay, we're going to give you this Vicodin that's going to stop the pain, but it might make you a little bit high. I go, you know what? I'll suffer with the pain. I'll suffer with it. I would rather suffer with the pain than be high. Because I'm against it. And the reason why I am so against it is because I had a friend in middle school. Or not middle school, high school. In my freshman year. He had the same computer class as me, and I loved the kid. He was a great guy. But he was known as a bit of a pothead. Back then, I didn't know any better. And, I didn't do anything with him. I was still drug-free and all that. I still believed in DARE and all that. It's like I never really talked to him against it. I just said, I don't need any, but you're cool. And some days he would not be there. Some days he'd come into class and he was a little off and he'd get sent home. And one day he just never showed up in class. And I wondered, man, maybe he's sick again. And then that day turned into a week. And then 2 weeks. And I got concerned. I asked the teacher. And she told me that he'd been in jail. Because he had been caught using heroin. Shortly thereafter, they sent the drug team, the DARE team down to talk to everybody. And I fully believe what they said, that marijuana is a gateway drug. Because you're sitting there, you get that stuff, you take it, you start smoking it, and then you start thinking, well, this ain't that bad. Let me try some of the harder stuff. And next thing you know, you're out on the streets selling your body or stealing to get your next fixed. And there's some people who will sit there and fight, maim, torture, and kill to get that next fix. And they won't care. You'll tell them, taking this drug will kill you. And they'll sit there and go, I don't care. I would just rather be high. There's some comedians I like to listen to because they're funny. Like Cat Williams. I love listening to this guy. He's hilarious. But the second he starts talking about marijuana and everything, I turn it. And I check back until after he's done with the skit. Because he talks about, everyone needs to smoke weed. I go, no. No. No one needs to smoke weed. Because things can happen. People can smoke weed and then start doing things that they shouldn't do. And they say, all you're going to do is eat all the food in your house and sit there and think about philosophical. No. No. You're going to do worse than that. You're going to do things with that weed. Things that you never thought you'd do because your inhibitions are gone. Your decision-making ability is shot to hell because you're high. So suddenly you start thinking, well, I'm going to try doing other things. Like, I'm going to see if I can fly. Or I'm going to try driving down the road with my eyes closed. And they say, there's thousands of people that take weed and nothing ever happens. Yet, I'd rather not have the chance. I'd rather not give them the chance to have an accident. I'd rather not give them the chance to hurt somebody. I'm fully against it. Anyone who sits there comes up to me and says, weed's fine, I will tell you. I could tell them right there, you smoked it before. You think there's nothing wrong with it? I can guarantee you, within about 5 years, you're going to be doing the harder stuff. If not already dead, because you OD'd on the harder stuff. I'm fully against drugs. I don't understand why people have to take drugs to make themselves feel better. I understand it from a sickness point of view. You take, over-the-counter stuff, you're in pain, but, why bother taking drugs that's going to kill you just because you can't deal with life? You're so stressed out with life that you got to take all these illegal drugs or go out and fake prescriptions to take OxyContin and Xanax all the time to keep yourself doped up because you can't deal with life anymore. Let me tell you something. I am the most stressed out person that I know. I'm pretty sure I'm the most stressed out person because I worry about a lot of things. But the one thing I will never do is take a drug to make myself feel better. I won't even take those damn antidepressant drugs because I know those, all they do is alter your mood. They make you high to relieve the depression. Sure, I want to trade one worry for another. Oh, I'm fully depressed. Am I off myself? Oh, I'm going to take this drug that's going to make me worry about being high. Oh, real big switch there. That and some of these damn antidepressant drugs. One of the side effects are depression. Of course, one of the other side effects of some of these damn depression drugs are death. Sounds like I don't want to take that risk. My ass would rather be depressed than emo like frickin' Sasuke. But that's why I don't like drugs. I lost a friend, you know. I haven't heard from him in years because he was in jail. I haven't heard of him. I haven't heard from him, seen him since. I probably never will. And I can imagine there are countless other people who have lost people because someone was high. And I don't care how much you'll argue that, oh, marijuana has medicinal effects. I don't care. The fact of the matter is the cons outweigh the pros. And I fully support the officers and soldiers that go around the world finding these marijuana grows and burning them and just destroying them. Can't burn them because, oh boy, that wouldn't work. But, you know, destroying them, taking the growers into custody. I hope for a day when marijuana will be 100% illegal and non-existent worldwide. They tell me, oh, you can make stuff out of hemp. Marijuana, you can make hemp. You know, I think I could do without hemp shoes and hemp hats and hemp shirts. Be fine wearing my damn cotton polyester blend. Thank you very much. The pros, the cons outweigh the pros. I probably said it wrong backwards. I don't care. The cons outweigh the pros. There are too many bad issues associated with, you know, misuse. Everything can be misused, but the fact of the matter of how much can it be misused before it becomes a problem. Marijuana, all it takes is one shot and you're high. And from then on, you're in fate's hands. You're in luck's hands. And if luck rolls the dice and comes up snake eyes, you're screwed. You could decide to try and swallow something that you shouldn't because, oh, you're high. You're thinking, oh, this won't hurt me. Next thing you know, you're dead. Family and friends are mourning you, wondering why. Why did you do that? I think marijuana and those other drugs destroy lives far more than they can help them. And I don't care if Montel Williams himself comes up and tells me that medical marijuana has helped his life. I will look him dead in the face and say, no, you're defending it because you like being high. Simple as that. If I had his issue and I was in pain every day, I would rather deal with the pain. I would rather deal with the stress. You know what my stress reliever is? You know what my stress reliever is? Video games. If I get stressed out real bad, I play them. That's my stress reliever. Not sitting there and lighting up a joint or taking some pill. And if that's the only way you have to relieve stress, then there's something wrong with your life. If you say that is the only reason for you, that's the only way you can relieve pain, get your mind off the pain, then obviously you haven't researched all the options And obviously you're looking for the easy way out. I think I've rambled up enough about that. But now I'm going to get to probably the nitty gritty long part of this. Alcohol. A friend of mine on here on YouTube, 40 Warrior, uploaded a couple vids of him playing Ninja Gaiden drunk. Right there was a problem. He picked a game that people really shouldn't pick. I mean, it's a decent game, it's just hard as hell. I mean, there's nothing, it wasn't bad programming, it's just very hard. But here's the problem. I asked you directly for it, because I know you'll watch this. Why did you get drunk? Why did you feel the need to get drunk? Did it just happen? Or did you actually sit down with the aim to get drunk? You see, here's the thing. I don't understand it. If someone... I'm against alcohol. I'm 100% against alcohol. I'm the guy who wished Prohibition had worked and that had spread worldwide, made alcohol 100% illegal worldwide. I would be willing to accept the loss of a few hundred recipes in the sake of saving lives and, saving and protecting people. The reason Prohibition didn't work is because you had corrupt politicians who didn't want to jeopardize the ownership of alcohol, but wanted, it's like, okay, these people are pushing to make it illegal, we're going to make it illegal to sell it, but not illegal to actually own it. So that we can keep our own private stocks, and because we're congressmen and whatnot, we have immunity, we have higher status, we can sneak around and get our stocks, and we're good. And while you have these G-men and these police officers running around breaking open casks of beer, you ever notice that not one of them is looking at it like, let me get a drink before we break it? No, because they probably have a stash at home. Prohibition didn't work because it was not 100% illegalized. You had corrupt politicians that kept a loophole or three in because they had their own supplies they didn't want to jeopardize. And plus they were being paid off by mobsters and such. But I wish it worked. But see, here's the thing, But getting off topic, like I said, I'm against alcohol. It's like, if you want to go out and have a drink or two, fine. But first of all, if you have to go out and have a drink or two to have a good time, obviously you don't know how to have a good time. I can go out to a party and not drink and have a good time. Why do people feel the need to go out and have a couple drinks to have a good time? Oh, it loosens them up? Why do you need a drink? Why do you need an outside source to loosen you up for a party? If you're going to a party and you're not partying, then obviously you ain't in the mood to party. You don't need some substance to make you want to party. If you need a substance to make yourself feel better, why? Obviously, you don't know how to make yourself feel better. But my real issue is when people go out and drink, and either just keep on drinking until they get drunk, or go out with the explicit intent of getting drunk. That's where I get pissed. When I have friends get drunk, either unintentionally because they never knew when to stop drinking, or intentionally because they had pains, they didn't want to deal with it anymore, I get angry. I get mad. I get pissed. I have a friend, he's a redneck, likes to go to bars. I looked at him, I got pissed at him one day. I said, why the hell do you feel the need to get drunk? And he's sitting there, he wants me to hurry up and get my license. I don't drive. I don't make enough money to have a car, so why drive? But he wants me to hurry up and get my license so I can be his designated driver. I looked him dead in the face and I said, no. I am not going to drive you around so you can get hammered. If that's the only reason you want me to get a license, I'm not going to get a license. And he said, fine, I'm just going to go out and get drunk and drive home. And I say, if you do that, which you've probably already done, I lose all respect for you. If you go out to drink a ton until you're drunk, or you go out with the explicit intent to get drunk, I lose all respect for you. And if you continue to do it, I will no longer consider you a friend. I understand some people have problems, have pains, and they have stresses, and the alcohol makes them feel better. But if you need a drink, again, if you need some substance to make yourself feel better, then obviously you can't handle life. And if you go out with the intent of getting drunk, I want to hit you. I had a girl I liked, but she liked going out and getting drunk, and I couldn't take it anymore. I ended up not talking to her much anymore because I was afraid that, if I got too close to her, she'd end up getting drunk, getting into a drunk driving accident, get herself killed, and then that would be hard on me. Come to find out, though, she ended up just hooking him with the wrong guy, and now she's 4 months pregnant. Single mother. Her whole future's shot to hell now. And that's the problem. You get drunk, and you make bad decisions. Either by driving or doing things that you normally wouldn't do sober. And this angers me. It's like, right now, I'm going to admit, from 40, I'm ticked with you. The fact that you would sit down and get drunk. What was your reasoning? I don't see the reason to get drunk. What is the reason to get drunk? Because, see, I know what the side effect is. I've seen it in my uncle. I have seen him wake up with bad hangovers. I've stayed over at his house with my cousins, and I've seen him several times wake up after a night of drinking and have such a bad hangover. What appeal is that? What's the appeal in going out and getting slam drunk and waking up the next morning feeling like you're dying? What's the appeal? Please enlighten me. Is it the feeling of being buzzed before that eventual crash into hell? Let me tell you something. I can go out and get that feeling of highness and buzzness and exhilaration. It's called riding a damn roller coaster. Of course, I wouldn't do it with full stomach, I'll tell you that damn much. Did that once already in the damn park and almost painted everything green. But while I was riding it, despite the fact my stomach felt bad, it was exhilarating. I felt great. And I came off, and I felt a little queasy, but I didn't feel like I was dying like I see so many drunks do. They wake up with that massive hangover. They have to wear sunglasses and everything, and they're sitting there going, oh. One of the things I love doing is working on New Year's Day. Why? Because so many people have went out on New Year's Eve and got drunk, and so they're waking up and they're going to work with these massive hangovers. And I like standing behind my counter and actually identifying every single person who had to come into the mall drunk for one reason or another, either get to work or pick something up. Or I like to go up to shopping on New Year's Day and see how many people are out picking something up and they're just hungover as hell, and just look at them and go, "Hey, how you doing?" Move real fast in front of them. Get a light shine in their eye real quick. I'm a sadistic bastard. But I feel if you didn't go out and get drunk last night, you wouldn't be having this problem. You'd be just seeing some fat guy running around, screaming and flashing lights at people and going, obviously that man's a little off. To which I'm probably could be diagnosed as clinically insane. But I don't see the appeal. If you know what you're going to feel like afterwards, is it worth it? I asked my uncle. I looked at him and I go, is the buzz worth the hangover? Several times he said no. I can't ask him that now. And this is the reason why I am 100% straight edge. My uncle's dead. He died about, let's see if I can pull this up real quick. He died several years ago. Let's see. My uncle, John J. Wagner, died July 14th, 2004. 11 days after my birthday. He was involved in a drunk driving accident. He was the drunk. Let me play it out for you. My uncle had all his life been an alcoholic, but he was one of those fun alcoholics. You know, where he was drunk, but you could get along with him easy. Problem is, he also had pains in his knees, so he was taking Vicodin. Bad mix. Well, due to issues that went back and forth, he ended up having to go to AA. And he was on the wagon. He had found Jesus again. He was going to church. Everything was great. But my idiotic aunt, in her infinite stupidity, decided on his birthday to take him to a bar. To take an alcoholic who is on the wagon in AA to a fucking bar! Now, of course, he was just as much his fault because he accepted and got drunk. In the course of getting drunk at the bar, he played pool with a guy who cheated. He wanted to fight the guy, but she convinced him not to, and they went home. They got home and weren't home but 10 minutes or so, and he wanted to go back and confront the guy. And my aunt, again, in her ex-aunt now, because my uncle was the one that was fully related to us. He married her. She wasn't related. And my aunt, in her infinite stupidity, instead of trying to talk him out of it, instead of sending one of my cousins, who were both driving age and both could drive, had licenses to drive him back, she let a man who was well over the legal limit drunk get in the car and drive back. Let me say that again. My idiotic aunt let a drunk man get in the car and drive away. Witnesses say, on his way down the road, a dog jumped in front of the road. He swerved to miss it. He rolled his Dodge Durango. And because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, he was flung out of the car. Witnesses say, and I'm getting conflicting reports here, not sure exactly what, some say He was flung out of the window at such a velocity that his head hit the top of the telephone pole. Some say he was just thrown out of the car and the Durango rolled over him. But either way, he died at the hospital. My favorite uncle, one of the people that I was closest to in my entire family, died. Because my aunt thought it'd be a good idea to take him to get drunk. Instead of bring him over to our house, because whenever he came over to our house, he had a good time. He wasn't drunk. We just liked hanging with him because he was such a fun guy to be around. No, she took him to a damn bar. She never once apologized for it. Says it wasn't her fault. Bitch, if you somehow watch this, it's 100% your fault, and so help me God, I'll make you believe it. There are conflicting stories that maybe, something else is afoot. Maybe she knew that there was a brake recall on the Durangos, and she decided to let him go. Because she's a cold-hearted, vindictive bitch like that, but I digress. Fact of the matter is, she is just as much to blame for his death as he is for drinking. He was an A. He should have made the decision not to go. Now, for those of you who will want the blame 100% at his feet, no. I only lay half the blame at his feet, because if she said anything else, said to go anywhere else, go to Disneyland, come to my house, go to a park, do anything that didn't involve alcohol, would have been better. But no, she suggested a bar to a guy who was in AA and had been 2 weeks sober. And that's why I'm 100% against alcohol. I'm against it to the point of paranoia and rage. I remember, when he died, I made a pledge to myself that I would never drink. Regardless, even if my life depended on it. Some people tell me, some people should drink like once a day or once a week to help their livers or something. I would rather whatever organ that needs me to drink rot away. I will never drink. I am at the point that after that happened, I looked at my mother and I said, no alcohol is to ever enter this house unless it's rubbing alcohol for wounds. And I looked at her and I said, way back, my mom used to buy wine coolers. She used to buy just one for New Year's. After that, I said, Mom, you're never drinking again. I don't care what you say. And she said, I'll do what I want. Because I don't know why she would say that, but she goes, I'll do what I want. And I said, no, you won't. You can do anything else. But if you try to bring alcohol in this house, I will pour it down the sink right in front of you. And she knew I meant it. There are very few things that I'd follow through on when it comes to being against her, but that's one of them. It's now a rule: alcohol does not enter my house. I don't care what you're drinking. I don't care at all. You are not to enter my house drunk. I remember one time my grandma wanted to try a recipe for beer can chicken. And I had gotten home from work and I had no idea that was being cooked. And I come in, I see half a can of beer sitting in the fridge. And I flew into a rage. And I looked at my mom and said, what the fuck is this? He said, watch your mouth. I said, answer the damn question. What is this? We got into an argument and she explained Grandma wanted beer for beer can chicken. And my grandma had already used some, and the chicken was already baking. And I got scared. I was terrified to eat it. Because I was afraid of going back on my promise to myself that I would never drink. They said, no, the alcohol's all evaporated. Like, that's not the point. I was terrified to eat bear canned chicken because there was alcohol in it. Yes, it was burned away when it cooked. I don't care. And they all said, oh, Johnny would think you were silly. And I go, if Johnny were here, I wouldn't be worrying. They ended up convincing me to have some of it, and I did. It was fine, but I still was upset about it. Came to the realization, well, I didn't drink it, and it didn't alter me at all. So it's fine, but I will certainly never eat it again. I looked at my grandma and I said, you're not cooking that anymore. I don't need to go through the stress of dealing with that anymore. And I said, if you want to do it, but with some other drink, like orange juice probably or something, fine. But no more, because I was stressed out after that. I ended up not finishing my dinner and I ended up going the rest of the day hungry because I was terrified. But yeah, that's why I'm militantly against alcohol. And that's why I'm so angry when I hear about friends wanting to go get drunk. Who say, oh, I want to go down here and have sushi and just get hammered. And I just want to go, why? What possible reason do you have to want to get drunk? Because when you go and get drunk, already you're putting your life at risk. Not just your life, you're putting other people's lives. May not be directly, indirectly. Because, what if you go and do something and get yourself killed? Even if you're the only one involved, you're still hurting all the friends and family around you. In fact, I think it's better that some people be murdered than be killed by alcohol. Because if it was murdered, it'd be like, oh, it's a senseless crime, there's a culprit. But when it's alcohol, there's only one culprit. And that's the person who's drinking. And that, in my opinion, hurts more. Because I've had a distant family member murdered. I didn't know them that well, but I've had a family member murdered. And I can tell you, from looking at the people involved, being murdered is just a few strokes less painful than losing someone to alcohol, in my opinion. I'm sure someone would disagree with me, that's fine. But when you lose someone to drugs or alcohol, it hurts worse because they did that to themselves. They were at fault. Interesting little tidbit, by the way, before I forget. The dog that the witnesses say jumped in front of my uncle's Durango did the same thing. My grandma and my dad were on their way to the funeral. I didn't go. I refused to go. I did not want to see. I didn't want my last memory of my uncle being dead in a casket. Of course, my other asshole of an uncle fixed that when he sent over the tape of the funeral, and instead of putting a picture of my uncle being alive and happy on the cover of the tape, no, he put a picture of my uncle dead in a casket. I still haven't forgiven him for that. But on the way over to the funeral, the same dog, because witnesses described the dog in detail, the same damn dog, jumped in front of my dad's truck, almost caused them to spin out. It had been raining. Luckily they didn't, but kind of an omen. An omen I didn't like, but still. I think that's all pretty much I have to say. If you want to provide a counterpoint or something, or provide a video response, that's fine. That's totally your prerogative. But if you just want to flame me or attack me, and say, "Oh, there's nothing wrong. Your uncle was stupid," or something, if you want to troll, I'm just gonna ignore you. But if you want to flame me and try and defend alcohol and defend drugs, try to do anything to defend them, I will outright block you in the discussion. I will not have someone. If you want to try and provide a counterpoint to my issues in a debate, that's fine. But if you want to try and troll, if you want to try and flame me and try and defend alcohol, like, oh fuck you, alcohol. Sorry about that. A stupid ad came up that I didn't see and just started playing continuously. I had to shut off the one web browser that I had up that had it. But anyway, again, I say if you want to provide a civilized discussion and a counterpoint to mine, or if you want to discuss why you may agree or disagree, that's fine. But if you want to sit there and say, "Oh, fuck you, alcohol is the best, getting high is great," I will just outright block you. I have no tolerance for people who are too blinded by the drugs and the alcohol and their own addictions to see just how bad they really are. I'm sick of seeing families get torn apart and people be killed because of these things. In a perfect world, these things would not exist. I tell you what, if I ever won the lottery and bought an island anywhere and started a little town there, first things to be banned would be alcohol and drugs. I would try even ban cigarettes too, because I think that's just unhealthy as hell. Come to my island, you will be going cold turkey, guarantee you. But yeah, I am 100% against drugs and alcohol. If I had to choose between getting my head blown off and taking them, I'd pull the trigger myself. I refuse. I hope you've managed to be able to sit through this entire freaking rant. I apologize if I may have pissed off or offended anyone, but I figured it's time I set the record straight on what my beliefs are, at least on this. And until whenever, this Big Fatty Plus, sayonara.